En vivo. Are we en vivo? Yes, we are en vivo. And I'm looking at the screen because you know what I mean. It's great to be here with you as always. Shout outs to you for being here once again. We're live on Twitch with you, and we're going to be live on Clubhouse in just a second. So thank you so much for being here once again. You know, I talked to you about the streets, Wall Street, that is, and I talked to you about stocks and crypto, and I've got all that for you and more in this hour. So on Mondays and Thursdays, you see us live here on Twitch. I'm going to open up Clubhouse here. And shout outs again to Leo, who checked in for Puerto Rico last Monday. It was so cool to have someone talk. And, you know, to be honest with you, I didn't know how it was going to come out audio wise, but, you know, worked out really well. Like he sounded like a live caller, and that's essentially what we're doing here. So, yes, pleasure to be here with you once again. We're live on Clubhouse as of right now. And shout outs to you for checking us out. So, we're going to take a look at a couple of crazy things in the market. There's a lot of madness going on in the market right now. If you were here with us, or when you were here with us on Monday, you saw that we talked a lot about GameStop. And the saga continues. You know, that day we went up to all the way to 159 on GameStop and came down to 68. And there was a support level that you saw there on GameStop. And I told you then, you know, at $70, there was a support level on the 12-day moving average. And I said, you'll probably see continued support there. So now is probably a decent time to pick it up. The day it closed at $80, right? So it ended up being a great pickup if you picked it up at 68 and it went to 80. Lo and behold, yesterday it goes all the way up to 360 something. So let me pull up the chart. I mean, 366, I think I saw that. So I'm going to pull up the chart right now for the lovely GameStop. The saga continues with GameStop. This stock has just been absolutely insane. And it's the stock that just doesn't want to quit. You know, it doesn't want to quit. And that's why we're going to be looking at it today. So here we go with GameStop. And yeah, I mean, just look at this 273 right now. It's down 21% today. That said, you've seen it take quite a dive at points of today. In fact, it went all the way down to about 160. So if you picked it up at 160 today, you're up. You're up $100, a little more than $100 right now. 273.27 is what you're seeing GameStop at the time of recording. Shout out to you if you're watching us on YouTube also. We repost these on YouTube after the fact. So your Bitcoin Now, that YouTube, we have you rolling as well. Shout out to you if you're here live with us on Twitch right now. Jump in the comments, jump in the chat, and make some noise. You know, it's just whatever questions you have, I want to be able to answer you and I want to be able to share with you. But looking at GameStop, I mean, you know, I this is just madness. I mean, when you're looking at these things on a chart, you typically don't expect, you know, these long wicks like this, right? You typically, you know, see candles healthy like this. You know, this is the body of the candle here, and there's a lower wick, here's an upper wick here. These right here are just absolute madness. And yesterday, it opened at 265. It had a low of 112 and a high of 483. So you could have 400% on your money yesterday, picking this up at 112 and selling it at the top 483. Obviously, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do for yourself, but ultimately it's something that you could have done. And there's people who did do it. There are always buyers and there are always sellers. So the thing I want to also talk to you about today, this morning, because yes, you've seen this just go absolutely bonkers, right? I want to talk to you about Robinhood shutting things down. So when you just look quickly at Robinhood, we're just going to Google Robinhood, and the news articles that you see pop up about it. TD Ameritrade restrict trading of GameStop and AMC stock. You see CNBC saying the same thing. So we want to take a quick look at exactly what's happening. I was at the gym before. I was with you today, and on my way to the gym, by the way, I want to shout out my homie Giovanni, one of my students for my course. If you're not in my course, definitely jump in my course. I'm going to actually put that URL in the chat, yourbitcoinnow.com. Just log on to yourbitcoinnow.com and you can jump in my course, which will teach you how to identify stocks the way that I identify them. So yeah, yourbitcoinnow.com. I'm there to help you. So Giovanni I talked with this morning. He's in New York. I'm in Las Vegas, and talking to him about what was happening, and he's saying, "Yeah, GameStop and AMC, I'm not able to buy it." And I said, "Yeah, I think they've done a halt because when you look on Robinhood trying to find, information about what's happening with GameStop, just to simply look at the price, which is what you normally would do, you can't even get it. So it looks like GameStop has, ultimately just been, blocked in terms of trading by Robinhood, which is huge because what's been happening this week, you've seen not just this week, but last week as well, you've been seeing Wall Street Bets, which is a Reddit that we're going to talk to you about today, that has been bidding this thing up. You have about 3 million users on Wall Street Bets, and they've been bidding this thing up. So that's been a big reason why you've seen the uptick in GameStop the way that you have. It's not typical. You've also seen the same thing for AMC, BlackBerry as well, Nokia at certain points of this week. So yeah, apparently it's all happening because of Wall Street Bets. So they're the ones who are running this show that you're seeing. And Robinhood now has stepped in. So free stock trading pioneer Robinhood and interactive brokers took steps to curb the wild trading activity. And it looks like retail brokerages restricted trading on Thursday for GameStop. It's what you saw. It's what I saw. If you opened up your Robinhood account and tried to take a look at GameStop, it won't even come up. And I noticed last night before I went to sleep that you couldn't even look at the options for GameStop, because I am going to look at options for GameStop in terms of selling calls. I've been waiting to short this thing for a while. If you're selling calls or if you sold $400 strike calls, shout outs to you, because I mean, just what you've been able to do today is just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Literally phenomenal. Because the price now is at 290 and you've seen it go as low as 160. So I teach you about options also in my course. So join my course, yourbitcoinnow.com. So yes, this is where we're at with Robinhood. Free stock trading pioneer Robinhood and Interactive Brokers, which is another broker that you may know of, said that in some cases investors would be able to sell only their positions and not open new ones. Both brokerages raised margin requirements on certain securities. After the announcement, shares of GameStop initially reversed their gains, sliding quickly into negative territory. The stock, which traded above $500 at one point in pre-market trading, was below 290 per share shortly after the opening bell. So right now, GameStop is nearing 300 once again. And I guess traders are finding new ways to pick up the stock. You can't do it on Robinhood right now, so you're going maybe to other or interactive brokers. So you're perhaps looking for other ways to pick up Robinhood or pick up GameStop. So GameStop was down 40% from Wednesday's closing price. In addition, GameStop, the wild trading affected other heavily shorted stocks, including AMC, BlackBerry, and COS. We continued. This is what Robinhood had to say. We continuously monitor the markets and make changes where necessary. In light of recent volatility, we are restricting transactions for certain securities to position closing only, including American Airlines, AMC, BlackBerry, and many others. GameStop is in there, Nokia is in there. They basically have just said, "Hey, party's over here, and yeah, you can't trade these stocks." And Interactive Brokers said the same thing. As of midday yesterday, Interactive Brokers has put AMC, BlackBerry, GameStop, EXPR. What is EXPR? I'm seeing EXPR stock, and I'm seeing cost stock. What stocks are those? Express, which is down 52% today. So if you got caught holding the bag, because the only thing you can do is sell, that's what happened to you. And then cost is what exactly? Cost stock, you have Cost Corporation, designs headphones. I don't know much about them, but it looks like everybody was jumping in on them via Wall Street Bets. And now you see GameStop appreciating again. It's up to 319 now. Just having a quick look at GameStop, just the little engine that could. I'm looking to short this thing. I would love to short the 400 strike calls. I see that 360, 370. There's a fib resistance here, Fibonacci resistance that you see there. You see that on what day was that? The 27th. You see that it hit that resistance, and which was yesterday, and today it blew through that resistance, but you have a long upper wick to show proof that there was a break, right? So the body of the candle now we're seeing is around here at 265. It opened today at 265. So it's about even for the day. GameStop is. And if you're looking to trade this, you may be asking me, it's just like, well, where are you trading this then? If everybody's out and you're going to trade options, well, where are you going to do it? I'm going to go to my broker at TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, and I'm going to make it happen because ultimately, yeah, I think that's the way to go. I think that's the way to go, at least for me, if I want some exposure to this. I know that you have many people out there, especially traditional traders, people who've been doing this for a long time, who they're not touching any of this with the 10-foot pole. And ultimately, I could pay the price for being involved in this, but I'm a big boy. By the way, none of this is financial advice. None of this is financial advice. Seek your financial advisor for your financial advice. I'm just a guy in a suit. This is all for education purposes only. I'm just talking to you. So yeah, it looks like 265 is where we're at on GameStop, and I'm not seeing the price move. So maybe it's been halted, because when you see a big moves in a stock at a certain percentage, 5, 10, 20, 30% in a short time frame, you'll see it get halted. And you saw that on Monday when you were here with me, and now you're seeing it once again. You're seeing the price of GameStop just basically locked in. So that is what's happening with GameStop right now. We're going to continue to check in on GameStop. I see AMC as well. I want to zoom in on AMC. AMC today down 53%. Now, this was the stock that my homie Giovanni did really well on. He's one of my students, and he's just done absolutely phenomenal with this. So let's see. The high for yesterday was about 2036. And look at what we have here. It's $9 today. So it just goes to show you, I mean, you got to be careful with these things, because you never know. You can get caught holding the bag, and you don't want to get caught holding the bag in all of this. To see a stock down 53% in a day, it's just absolutely, you're seeing silly season in the market. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Wall Street Bets has basically said, okay, Wall Street, okay, world, we're going to show you who's boss. So that brings us to our main story of today, which is this right here, Wall Street Bets. So I had heard of Wall Street Bets before all of this craziness that you're seeing in the market, and of Reddit, of course, but I had no idea they had the power that they do. I think I said on Monday, or I alluded to on Monday for you, that there was maybe a couple of thousand people in on all this, craziness. And it turns out it's a lot more than that. It turns out it's a lot more than that. Millions of people uh, are people who use this, and for me, I just have to just take a look, and I just have to just go. I mean, it says 4.7 million, right? Which is just insane. So you want to if you look at the daily discussion, though, there's some people crying about what's happening today, because you've seen it go again up to $500 in pre-market trading, and now you're looking at it 265. If you bought it in the pre-market, unfortunately for you, you're down 50% about. And if you bought it once the market opened and you bought it maybe 483 or so, you just seen it tank, no good, right? So that's essentially where things are at. And if you're on Robinhood and you're holding this thing, you can't even really look at it on Robinhood unless you want to sell it. Not great. So let's see what people are saying here on wallstreetbets.com. Just bought 2 GME shares, doing my part. Here's this one. I'm not big on conspiracy theories, but wow, what a collaborative effort from everyone on disabling GME costs and AMC. So of course that's GameStop costs and AMC. It's a free market until some billionaire boomers get upset about something. Okay. And there's another one by GameStop. Never thought I'd die fighting alongside the squad. BlackBerry gang, what are y'all thinking? I'm holding 3,000 plus shares here. Buy the dip on my PLTR soldiers. What's PLTR? Quickly. PLTR stock is what? We're looking at Palantir, which software company. Don't know much about them. Definitely have heard of them. But yeah, I think that guy's just trying to pump his bag. Let's see who else is talking and see who else you're seeing on Wall Street Bets. The Reddit is going crazy. Just bought some AMC through Cash App. I didn't even know you could do that. Someone please tell me where to buy GME. So when do we storm the Robinhood offices? There's an index for volatility. Instagram is deleting my post about Robinhood. Okay, I see GME. GameStop is just reopened now, and 288 is where it's just popped up to. I've made 4 orders today since market open, all of which have been rejected an hour or so after placing the order. What is going on? Let's go, baby. I know y'all are ready for sweet, sweet tears. The murder bots are coming. This is literally why you need decentralized finance technology. I mean, there's a lot saying here. Wall Street Bets needs to team up with Barstool and start their own brokerage. So it's interesting to see what you're seeing here on this right here, which is essentially Wall Street Bets, and you see people on here who are just saying, okay, well, this is what we're thinking, and this is why we need to just bandy together and create something new here. It's no longer about the old guard, it's about the new guard. One of the links that you see here is Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's linked from her Twitter was linked from Wall Street Bets, and here's what she's saying. Inquiries into freezes should not be limited solely to Robinhood. This is a serious matter. Committee investigators should examine any retail services freezing stock purchases in the course of potential investigations, especially those allowing sales but freezing purchases. That's interesting. And a couple of comments on her her Twitter post. The real fix is to require Wall Street trades to be held for 6 months after purchase. I don't know about that. Wow, I agree with AOC. The hedge fund bit off more than they could chew and are angry someone caught them. SEC investigation, please. I lost a lot of money. So yeah, a lot of people are weighing in on what's happening. This has gone not only viral, this has made like headline news. I was watching NBC News late last night, and I'm not a big mainstream news guy. Like I watch it like, ooh, tell me the truth. But I'd like to watch just to take a temperature of what people are watching and what's happening in the country from one point of view that you see, right? So one of the stories last night was GameStop and all the craziness that's happening, and just the fact that you see, NBC News, Lester Holt, when is he ever talking about the stock market unless it's going down really hard, right? Or maybe up to not only an all-time high, but something historic has happened, right? Historic gains in the market. So when you see it make NBC News mainstream news, so to speak, you know that something is up, and you know that people are talking. So yeah, really big things are happening right now for sure. And yeah, this is what, you got people here on Wall Street Bets who are basically, they've picked a few stocks for everyone to go in on. And people are saying, let's go in and let's make some dough. Let's make something happen here. They've bidded up GameStop from a $4 stock up to $2.80 right now. And, they're definitely doing their thing for sure. They're definitely very strong. And what you probably are going to see, in addition to investigations, is some sort of legislation where ultimately Wall Street has a lot of power and influence. They buy politicians in the sense that they use lobbyists to make sure that legislation is in their favor. This is how America works, right? And this is how Washington, D.C. works, as you know. So last time I checked, Wall Street Bets on Reddit, they don't have the same level of influence on Congress people. So I think you're going to see, this is what I think. I think you're going to see some legislation come out pertaining specifically to all that you've been seeing this week, because a lot of the old money lost money this week, a lot of money they lost, and you're seeing gyrations in the market that just not only do they not make sense fundamentally, they're dangerous to anyone who doesn't know what they're doing in the slightest. So you have people again who bought GameStop at $400, and you know what? If you see it go to $800 next week, it was an amazing pickup. The likelihood of that happening, who knows? But typically, when you talk about market fundamentals, it's not likely to happen. None of this is normal. This is all very abnormal. And whenever you see abnormal things happen in the market, and it's not favoring the old money, the old guard. If it's not favoring the street, you're likely to see something happen from a law standpoint, legislation wise, to curtail the madness, the craziness. So that's essentially what I'm seeing. What are you thinking? Get in the chat right now and let me know. We are live on Twitch right now, and we are live on Clubhouse. It's a pleasure to be here with you, of course. And shout out to you if you're watching the repost on YouTube. I want to take a look at, let's see, there was a couple others I wanted to take a look at. In fact, there is a real estate stock I want to talk to you about today as well. So let's have a look at EXPI. Yes, this is one that I'm actually going to pick up, just in terms of full disclosure. I'm going to pick this one up. I've just been looking at it for the last couple of months, back since October. By the way, if you hear a dog barking, that is Mace the dog. He's quite loud and he likes to bark when he's not getting attention. So shout outs to Mace. So let's look for EXPI. EXPI. I have so many stocks here in this watch list. So forgive me for just scrolling. They see me scrolling. Yeah, that was corny. Okay, so EXPI is a stock that is a real estate company, and it's been doing really well. I was told about it. My buddy David, who I think I told you about David, but if I didn't, met him at Sci Seminars back in October. So when you take the seminar, you go out to a ranch in California, in Northern California, which is phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal ranch. And you go up there and you do a lot of great exercises, and just you get a certain level of clarity, peace of mind, and you learn amazing tools to help grow yourself. This is not an ad. I'm just telling you how it goes down. So I met him up there. He's in real estate. He's a real estate agent, amongst many other entrepreneurial pursuits. And he told me then, he was like, EXP, you got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get it. And I was just like, okay. So I looked at the chart like I normally do. By the way, I teach you how to do that as well. If you ever want to learn yourself how to look at the stock market and make the right calls, just join my course. You can see the link in the chat, yourbitcoinnow.com. I gotcha. So I'm going to just click that plus. I guess I didn't have it in my watch list. Ooh, what is that about? I'm glad I have it now. So it's at 104.93 at the time of recording and being here live with you. And ultimately, this was one that I was like shocked to see its growth, especially so fast. You saw it move like that. And I mean, look where I drew this Fibonacci, right? I mean, I drew it to $100. It's well overbought, as well, as you can see on the RSI. I'm just going to show that to you real quick. I mean, just look at that RSI. It's super overbought. Stock goes back to about 2014 or so, 2013, and it's just been doing really well. Today, you see it down about 3%, but I mean, it's got to start retracing some of this move, right? Because it's so overbought. But yeah, this has been doing really well. So I was told about it, let's see here, October. So if you look up here, you can see the open, the high, the low, and the close. I teach you about this in my course. So what next to the L there, what does it say? Yes, it says 40.33. So it hit a low of 40.33 for the month. It actually opened the month of October at 40.79. I didn't quite know about it yet. And it closed the month at 42.39. So had a high of 62.50. It had a very volatile month, but could have bought it then at 42.39. So since then, I mean, just look at what it's done. Rocket ship. It has an all-time high of, I believe, 116 or so. Let's see. The high is actually 120, as you see OHLMC. It says H there at 120. So I'm just going to move this fib up to Fibonacci. I call it fib for short. Fib and I are really good friends, so I can do that. But yeah, so the Fibonacci just moving up to 120 to show you, to impress upon you what exactly is happening here with EXPI or EXP World Holdings. Oh man, I don't like when TradingView does that. It zooms in weird. I told you about that on Monday too. In fact, you saw that on Monday too when that happened. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you EXP and all the craziness that's going on because I mean, EXP has been going crazy. And shout outs to David. He was definitely he's been a buyer from way lower than 40, so his cost basis is quite low, which is great for him. I mean, he's probably up 5 or maybe even 10x on this. So just moving that up to 120, and I'm just showing you the chart here, and it's done it again. This is what I don't know. I think it's something with Mac. Like there's something that I did to zoom in, and it does that. I think the haters don't want me to show you how this works. Nah, it's all good. Yeah, we'll show you EXP, and it's something again that I want to pick up, and it's not necessarily only because of it's not necessarily only because the thing's going up, right? It's not, well, it's going up, that's why I'm buying it. Ultimately, the trend is your friend. And when I say that, I'm not just talking about the candles that you see. I'm talking to you about what you're seeing out there in the world. Like who's into this right now and what are they saying? And that's the part that I'm actually super excited about because I know a couple of real estate agents. And what I'm noticing from these real estate agents is a lot of them are joining this company, EXP. They what they do with the company is they'll post and they'll say, I made the move to EXP Realty. Because again, it's a real estate company. It says EXP World Holdings. It's basically a broker. And they have a different business model than your typical broker. And it gives that sovereignty to real estate agents. And when you see that, and you see so many people make the jump, it's like, something's happening here. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's super overbought, as you can see. I'm not a huge fan of buying in overbought conditions, but big but I'm looking at the trends overall. Looking at the trends overall, and the trends overall look pretty good in terms of at least seeing real estate agents jump on this thing. When you talk to real estate agents, say, "Hey, are you with EXP? Have you heard of them?" There's an awareness in the business and in the industry about what you're seeing here. So again, this is not financial advice, and in full disclosure, I am looking at this to pick it up because I think this could be a pretty good long-term play. That's what I'm thinking. Could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, but I also could be right. So yeah, I think I'm going to draw a fib extension for you as well. So you can just have a look at, I'm actually giving you the really real, because I don't typically show you all of this all the time. But this is how you draw a chart. So I'm going to go for a fib extension. You want to go from the low of a move to the top of a move, and then you drag. So let's see, we go to the low here at 299. I'm just going to move up to 254 there. Oh, actually, hold up a second. Yep. And then we're going to go to the high there at 120.02, let's say. Yep. And then here we go with our fib extension. So we can take a look, not only what's happened, we can look on the upper part of the chart as well and see where this thing can go. Because I think this thing could 3x. I mean, why not? Why not? Especially with as much energy that there is behind the company at the moment. So I see a resistance at 311.06. So, from 104.93 to 311.06. Yep, I think that's fair. The next fib resistance I see is at 148.70, which would be a 50% return for me. And I'll take that. So at least from these current levels. So what I'm kind of seeing here is buying now and then just buying dips. You're seeing a long-term play. This is what I would call a long-term play for myself. I wouldn't necessarily look at this as, hey, let me get in, let me get out, let me get in, let me get out. I'm looking at this with you as a long-term play. And yeah, it's been, pretty good so far. I wish I would have bought it at 40. But here's the thing, right? There's many times that's going to happen. when you take my course at yourbitcoinnow.com, I teach you about the fact that you see so many opportunities in the market all the time. You do not have to be greedy for an opportunity and feel like you missed, quote unquote, the boat. There's always new opportunities in the market. I mean, look at what's happening with GameStop this week. This is a stock that I traded last year. It was $4. It's $282. I'm looking at it right now. That could make anyone go crazy. It doesn't make me go crazy because you don't have that FOMO when you realize you have plenty of opportunities to do something else. The market is always going to, I don't want to say always, never say never, or never say always, but the market is here. So you always have, I just said it, that opportunity to get in, right, where you fit in. So EXP I see as a long-term play. And I'm excited because once upon a time, there was a stock called Roku that I used to hold back in 2018. So let's look at 2018 and where it was at. I mean, just hovering around some of the prices, 58 bucks, 49 bucks, 37 bucks, 26 bucks. And it had a horrible, horrible fourth quarter in the stock market. And I was just like, yeah, I'm out of this. It's fun while it lasted. And with Roku, the reason why you saw me in Roku at that time, it's pretty simple. I never heard of them before. And when I was staying with a friend in LA in the previous summer, and when you're at the house, you're like, where's the cable? Oh, there's no cable, but I have Roku. So it's like, oh, Roku. I don't think I've ever heard of Roku. So start watching Roku on a regular basis because, I'm staying there. And I'm like, wow, this is actually a pretty cool system, the way that it's set up. So once I went into the stock market, because I wasn't in the markets at that time, I said, hey, that Roku stock, yeah, because it looks like people are picking it up. And picking it up, at least you saw them using it, right? So I had a user experience. I had a experience using it, and I knew someone, and I know someone who has Roku and had it at that time. So it's like, okay, there's some real world stuff happening with this, and it's pretty cool. And it's, you can cut the cord and have this instead, and it comes already like pre-programmed on a TV when you would see it. So I was like, yeah, this seems like a pretty good pickup. And lo and behold, it's $400 today. So to that point, you're gonna always have opportunities. This one I kind of kick myself for, because I could have just bought a bunch and just fell asleep, just kept it in the portfolio, just been like, whatever. Especially going into, well, actually, I sold off everything at the end of 2019, and I still would have been good at 133. So I would have made, 3x, or would have about 3x at that point, which would have been great. But I mean, just looking where you see it now, I mean, whew, from 30 or 40 bucks, which was my cost basis back then. I mean, hello. So yeah, so Roku is the one that got away. But it's all good. By the way, if you're in the chat, jump in the chat now and just ask me any question you got, because I'm here to answer your questions on the market. And shout out to everybody on Clubhouse. If you're on Clubhouse now, just chime in whenever you want. Get in where you fit in. We're talking markets right now. We're going to check back in with AMC. We're looking at AMC, and it looks like AMC is up just a little bit. You down with AMC? Yeah, you know me. So AMC looks like it tested that 50-day moving average, one of my favorite supports and resistances. And look at what it did. Lo and behold, it went down to, wow, it went down. Well, that was a little earlier. It went down to 652. So it opened the day. It opened the day at 1198 and went all the way down to 652. Brilliant. It bounced off that 50-day moving average, and now it looks like it is hovering above that. So now it's at 1079. You have people who picked it up at 652 today who are doing extremely well. So that 50-day moving average, that one is a winner. I love the 50-day. And we'll look at GameStop intraday as well. We're looking on the hourly chart. And again, boom, clockwork, 50-day moving average. Once again, that's the gold line that you're seeing right there. 50-day moving average. Gotta love that support. It just fell right down to 113.69, which is where that 50 days at. And I mean, that was the time If you wanted to sell puts, oof, and now it's at 271. You see it. That's just classic trading right there. That 50-day moving average is just so key. And I teach you about this in my course. So yourbitcoinnow.com. Go there and pick up one of my courses, either the stock course or the Bitcoin course. Stock course, you'll definitely get into all of this, which is support and resistance. So you see support here on the 50-day moving average. And yeah, just like clockwork, the thing, I mean, look at that. It says open, high, low, and close, as I told you before. And at 7:30, well, let's see, just for the day, the stock opened at 279 and it hit a high of 482.55 before closing at 391. So very volatile hour. And then the all out dump, which I was seeing before going live with you today here on Twitch and on Clubhouse. And yeah, from $400 down to 113.69. One of my options group, actually, if you saw the post, I posted, if you sold the $400 calls for GameStop when it hit today, that's just amazing trading right there. I've been wanting to short this thing really all week. You've had a lot of people make a lot of money go long on these things. I like to stick to my rules, and my rules are, when you see something overbought like that, you go the other direction, man. You just look to short, and of course you got to be careful because you got to short at the right time. And believe me, you see a lot of short sellers who are getting crushed right now because they're short from like $10 on GameStop, $20, and it's at 256, right? But how long does it last? It looks like right now Robinhood is on the side of Wall Street in the sense that they have halted your ability to pick it up. And the fact that they've done that, that doesn't bode well for people who want to buy into this run because they can't. Now, there are other ways you can buy this stock: GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, all the ones that Robinhood has pulled, and Interactive Brokers has pulled a few of them as well. But obviously Robinhood, that is if not the biggest trading app for the retail quote unquote investor. You don't have any trading fees whatsoever. It's a very easy to use app. You can download it and be buying stocks within a minute or two. So it's just the way that you see people buy. So you've now taken that ability away from them. And when you have more sellers than buyers, the price goes down. That's just how this whole thing works. So you're seeing the price of 250 now. And yeah, that is GameStop. AMC, just going back to AMC at a 992. But you got to love that 50-day moving average. It just came right down, respected it, and it's just continuing to truck along. I'm going to look to sell calls on this. That's what I'm going to look for. I have I'm going to look at the last hour of trading today for that. And that's typically what I do when I go into options. I have a couple of different option strategies. And when I go into options, what I like to do is I like to go into it with a game plan because that's how you have to do things, right? I teach you that in my course as well. So when you're going into options, particularly with this one strategy that I have, what I like to do is I like to go with whatever options are expiring this week, which would be Friday, January 29th. And I go in Thursday, last hour of trading, and I see what I can pick up. And I say, okay, I can sell these calls or I can sell these puts based on where the stock is at. And then Friday comes, right? Because again, it's the last hour of trading. Friday comes and if you're up or if you're not. Very simple. Those are my in and out trades in options. Now, another way you can do options is you can sell calls and puts about 45 days out. It's something I learned from Option Alpha. If you want to learn a lot about options, optionalpha.com. Amazing. So good. If you don't know anything about options, you don't know anything about the stock market, probably would be very confusing for you. But yeah, I learned that strategy from optionalpha.com. And Kirk, the guy who runs it over there, what he does is, he has about 45 days out. He'll sell calls and puts on some core tickers that he has, a lot of ETFs, a lot of spiders, and that's how he does it. So, what that does is it gives you enough premium, right? Because you're selling, because he's a net seller of options, and I prefer to be a net seller of options as well. And when you do that, you build a portfolio of, and they're all uncorrelated, by the way. So it's not like he has a bunch of tech options he's selling and that's it. No, he'll have some tech, some retail, some travel, some consumer staples. He'll have a mix, right? Because that keeps things uncorrelated. So if one goes bad, you don't have to worry about everything going bad at the same time. So you can do that as well. You can sell options, out of the money, right? And do that and do it for premium, because most options. This is what I learned from Kirk. Shout out to you, Kirk, and Option Alpha. This isn't an ad, by the way. I'm just sharing knowledge. I learned that most options are overpriced. You have gyrations in the market that cause options to be overpriced. So since it's overpriced, you want to be a net seller so you can catch that premium and then move along, right? So that's why I like to do options that way. I kind of remix that strategy a bit for a short-term strategy, which is, again, I look at on Thursday, last hour of trading, and whatever Friday options are expiring, I'll look to sell. And if there's opportunity, I'll take it. I've done really well with it the last or fourth quarter. I definitely did really well with it. On Tesla, that was a big one. Like I would selling Tesla calls and puts every week because the stock was just going crazy, and you had so many people looking at it, and the options were just super expensive. So I was like, all right, yep, I will sell some options. And people in my options group they were like, you're selling Tesla? I wouldn't touch that. And then I would end up profitable, and they'd be like, oh, I guess that worked. I'm like, yeah, it did. I did have a recent loss on Amazon. So I did the strategy on Amazon, and Amazon's not a stock that I'm familiar with. I'm not intimate with Amazon. And this is what happens when you're using a stock over and over again to make gains or to trade. You become intimate with it. You know how it moves. You know its gyrations. You know its favorite movies. You know its favorite dinner. And all of that. So I wasn't intimate with Amazon, and man, I was down all day. I was golfing. It was a Friday morning. I'll never forget. And I could not stop looking at my phone. I should have just left my phone at home, really, when you look at it at the end of the day, because it was driving me nuts while I was out there on the range. I get home and I'm upset because this move didn't happen the way that I thought it would. And what do you do when you're down? I said, I'm just going to cut my losses, at this point. It wasn't a huge loss, but it was a loss. Amazon, last hour of trading, turns literally like right when I closed the trade, turns right around, and it ended up being profitable for my trade. And I was just like, yeah, of course, So the market does that to you. It tests you at times, and you just have to be prepared and aware of the fact that that's going to happen. But ultimately for you, stick to your rules, right? One of my rules is, I'm in for the full trade. And I kind of broke my rules in the sense that with that Amazon one that I just told you about, because I didn't let it run the whole length of what it was supposed to do. What I should have done, right? Because this is part of my rules. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, like I got scared and then I did this, right? Something I teach you not to do in my courses, but again, I'm human, right? And I wanted to just cut my losses short. I should have rolled it to the next week, right? Because that's what you do when you're in options, especially when you're a net seller of options. You roll it for more premium so you can, keep the ball rolling. But I think it was because there wasn't much premium. I think I looked to do that, and I was just like, I think I was a net buyer to keep the thing going. So I wasn't even catching any more premium. So I was just like, if you're not going to give me any more money to roll this option forward, maybe I should just cut it. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to cut it. It sucks that it happened, but and then that hour, man, I mean, you had to see my face. I was seething, but I was laughing because, the market is funny that way. The market will get you. The market will get you at any time that it wants. Especially if you allow it to, and that's what I did ultimately. So we're live on Twitch and live on Clubhouse right now. Thank you so much for being here. Twitch.tv/DJ Ooch Music, and on Clubhouse, just find me DJ UCH. Yeah. Loving what I'm seeing in the market right now. Again, I'm going to look to short this. I'm seeing 260 right now. It's just holding steady, 263 now. So it looks like things have calmed down a little bit on GameStop, just in the sense that, I mean, it's not moving with crazy gyrations the way that you've seen it over. I mean, look at this, these candles you're seeing on the screen now. Look at that. Like, this is just madness. Absolute madness. And this hour, you're seeing less volatility. Don't know why exactly, but you're seeing less volatility. AMC, I also want to look at Nokia. So AMC, you're seeing less volatility as well. This is what you would call the doldrums of the market. Typically, the opening and the closing of the market, I told you on Monday, is the most volatile. You'll see the most humans trading during that time as well. So right now it's just, it's pretty quiet for both of those stocks. I want to take a look though at Nokia, because I know Nokia is another one that Wall Street Bets was calling out as a stock to get involved with. So 489, I mean, look, again, just there is some blood in the streets today. I tell you that. I tell you. So Nokia 489, not good. Not good at all. Traders on Wall Street Bets called this one out too. And look, by that upper wick here from yesterday, the thing went all the way up to 979. So Wall Street Bets, I don't know exactly what the rhyme or reason is for certain stocks that they're picking. However, you're seeing some madness today. There's some people who got caught holding the bag for sure. I feel bad for anyone who picked up late in the market yesterday because they're down big, and especially if they put a lot of money into it. The market is fun when you win, and it is not fun when you don't win, right? There should always be a learning experience though, because the more you learn, the more you earn, and ultimately the market is here to teach you a lesson. So my lesson from that Amazon trade I talked to you about was to stick to your rules, man. Stick to your rules. You were in on this, you were ready to take all the gains, well, be ready to take all the loss. Now, I'm not saying that applies in every case, but specifically with those options trades, that's essentially how I trade them. And the lesson here for you, if you're somebody who's been picking up GameStop at $400 and just really just riding this wave, and now today you're crushed, the market's not a game. It's fun, and it is a game to some degree, but it doesn't feel like a game when you're down big. So just be aware of that. Don't follow the herd. Think for yourself, and you'll be good in the long run. That's really what it's about. When you're trying to ride the wave, you can just get hurt. You can get hurt. And if you bought at $400 and you're at 262 now, you're hurting. That's one. And two, there's no guarantee you're going to see GameStop go back up to $400. It's 100x where it was a year ago. And it's just because people are bidding it up. I mean, on Reddit, it's a recipe for disaster long term. So just be careful out there. All right. The more you know. So Nokia, I'm just looking at here, and Nokia, just more madness here. Long upper wick. I know that there's a resistance back at like $14 from what I saw. And yeah, you just want to be careful. That's another one that they've bid up today as well. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's a lot of madness happening in the market, and you just got to be careful. Nokia down 25% today. GameStop down 25% today. AMC down 47% today. I mean, it's fun on games when you're winning, but when you're not, it's a whole other story, so just got to be careful. There's a lot of people you've seen ask me this week. They're like, Ooch, what are you buying this week? I'm like, I'm chilling, man. I'm like teaching and I'm like, having lunch and I'm like weight training, and you're not seeing me chase any of this unless it is to go short. Because again, fundamentally, none of this makes sense. It's all basically a pump scheduled by Reddit. And for me, I'm a fundamentals guy in the sense that it's like, okay, if it's getting pumped like this, that means it's going to go down. And this is what I teach you in my course as well. When it goes up like an elevator, it will come down like an elevator. If it goes up like stairs, it'll go down like stairs. So you want to see your stock kind of steadily go up. You want to see if it does come down, God forbid, but if you do see it come down, then it'll come down steadily, right? But when you see these huge pumps, man, it's just a recipe for disaster because it goes up like that and then it comes down like that. It's just almost always does. That's just how charting works, technical analysis works, price action works, because it's not sustainable. There's no support built. I teach you about support and resistance in my course, yourbitcoinnow.com. Go grab that course. And you just want to just do things the right way. So Nokia, not doing well. Shout outs to you though if you sold those calls at $10. Oof, that is a pickup right there. Let's see what else is down big in the market today. I'm sure that there are many that are down big in the market today, and those ones are probably, those are probably the ones that Wall Street bets have been bidding up. So let's see, XRT. So XRT, and shout outs to the Compound. So the Compound on YouTube, amazing, love them. XRT, XRT is a spider, SPDR spider, and it's a retail ETF, right? So who does XRT have in their portfolio? GameStop. Ouch. So if you're someone who trades XRT regularly and it doesn't have any volatility, I mean, look at this. This is going back to 2013. XRT, just support and resistance for 6 years. It's just gone straight across. Yeah, it had like, the 2000s, a nice little trajectory, or the 2010s in the beginning of them. But since then, it's just kind of just gone straight across. It had a horrible March, you see, horrible March, 2020. But, who else? Of course, everyone had a horrible March 2020. And it's gone up steadily since. And, it had a huge November, which is great. And it had a huge, well, it had a good, very good December. Look at this January. This is all, what you're seeing here is all GameStop. So it's like, man, I mean, and there are people who trade XRT who are traditional investors, or people who, I mean, they're not into like hype and FOMO. So it's like people are getting hurt out there big time. Um, I would love to sell the XRT $100 calls if they're around. I mean, anyone who sold them here at their all-time high 99.24, Mazel Tov, right? Let's look on the daily chart for XRT. This spider, by the way, we've got 5 minutes left in the show. So if you're wanting to ask a question, ask away. Ask away. So yeah, it came down to that 12-day moving average support. XRT did. It's probably going to eventually come down to the 50-day if I were to guess, but that's just a guess. It's had a pretty good trajectory going forward. You see here on the 12-day that there's also a fib support there. So 78.11 is the low on there. And it looks like that's where the support is at. So that is a pretty decent put sell as well. 78. I don't know how much those are. If I were to guess, they're pretty expensive given everything that's been happening in the markets this week. And yeah, I mean, this XRT is a casualty of this insanity that's happening. It's not a volatile ETF at all. I mean, look, the each day it moves maybe a dollar, 1%, 1%, 0.0%. 1.22%. It moves like nothing. And today it's moved 9% in a day. 8.5 to be fair, but I mean, just craziness happening in the market. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin before we do go, we love our Bitcoin. You love your Bitcoin as well. Yes, I know you do. Bitcoin has just been, just kind of steadily trucking along and been doing well. It's allowing GameStop and Reddit to have its day. But yeah, it came down to 50 days. You can see here, and the 50 days been showing support. I think this is very outstretched, and I think it's due for some sort of a downturn. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be down for the year, but just looking where it's at now, it can use some consolidation. I'm just saying. I know no one who's bullish wants to hear that, but it's just what I'm seeing on the chart. It's just what I'm seeing on the chart, man. Then again, look at the chart back here. This is 2017 in the run up, and it was very overbought and it was crazy, right? So who knows? Maybe you see it go up to 56,000 here, Bitcoin, that is. But yeah, the Bitcoin bulls are chilling. And there's some consolidation here. You can see it's 3 days of basically, just 3 days, about a week of things just going sideways here. And, it's not too bad. I'm for it. Will it break down though? Will it break down? Let's take a quick look at the Heikin Ashi. I teach you about this in my course as well. It looks like these are all red candles. So this is a red trend. And we'll see if that 50-day moving average can maintain support. We shall see. We shall see. Yes. Jump in with your last minute questions because we're here on, okay, let's see. Create now, sleep later. What up? He says, with all the recent stock movements, I just installed Robinhood. I know nothing about the stock market. Any advice where to get a good understanding of trading? I'm not involved in this Wall Street Bets thing. It's also in their interest for people to hold. What up? Thank you so much for asking that. Create now, sleep later is in the chat here on Twitch. And I'm just going to say hello to you. And you can get my course at yourbitcoinnow.com. I teach you about this and about the markets. In addition to talking to you here on Twitch and on Clubhouse and on YouTube, shout out to everybody on YouTube. I teach you all of this in my course. So my course is phenomenal. It's the best course you can find out there for the price that you get it for. I mean, this course, there's people who charge like 10 G's for this course, and I don't charge you 10 G's. Not even close. So do yourself a favor, yourbitcoinnow.com. If you don't know anything about the stock market and you want to learn, you should want to learn, because the more you learn, the more you earn. Yourbitcoinnow.com. You'll have two options there. You can either buy the stock course or you can buy the crypto and Bitcoin course. I implore you, I urge you to jump in there and do that, because you'll be doing yourself a huge service by learning. And that's it for our show today. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate you just, wanting to learn, because again, the more you learn, the more you earn. We're back on Monday with more market talk every Monday, every Thursday, live on Twitch, twitch.tv/DJUCHMUSIC. That is me. I'll see you on Twitch. Also, I'll be playing music all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So make sure I see you there as well. We're on at 2 p.m. Pacific on Friday, and we're on throughout the weekend as well. Thank you so much for joining us on Clubhouse and on Twitch. And shout outs to Create Now, Sleep Later for your question in the chat. I will see you again. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you on Twitch this weekend too. God bless and take care.